Well, quite a number of interesting things bring me here. As an organization, we've been working on climate change issues, research, capacity building, just policy analysis. So we were really interested in really influencing this particular process. So we had a series of side events that we wanted to host here to tell different stakeholders about our work in this area, especially the climate change bill making process in Kenya, the whole community-based adaptation conference, which we had the privilege of hosting sometime early this year in April in Nairobi, and then also to share our work on the intended national determined contributions, which were submitted by quite a lot of countries. I think the count stands at 153 right now. And then also to just follow the process, because we know that Paris is really a milestone COP in terms of delivering this post-2020 agreement that people will be signing on to and hopefully committing to reducing emissions. Yeah.
And tell me about the African INDCs, and that's the UN jargon for climate plans. We've seen a lot of African countries submit, and some of them quite ambitious, like Ethiopia's. I mean, what kind of trends did you see?
I think that's a very interesting question. So my organization did this analysis of the African ANDCs, and a lot of countries have a lot of ambition. Ethiopia, Kenya has a 30% mitigation target, so that's quite ambitious. What we noticed is that a lot of these countries are pegging their mitigation ambitions and achievement on financial support, means of implementation as it is called. So that's quite interesting. And then also the fact that all of these mitigation efforts are linked to developmental issues. They see this as a key developmental issue and not just a climate challenge per se. So that's quite an interesting trend. And then also the fact that a lot of these countries have tried to cost what it will take for them to achieve the mitigation pledges they have put forward. But then also the fact that a lot of these countries have gone ahead and put in their adaptation measures as well. So that's quite interesting because they're committing to do something towards adaptation, which is really key because they're already facing the impacts of climate change. Another very interesting observation is the fact that agriculture and of course issues of food security come across as a very, very key aspect for African countries. They see this as a priority area for both adaptation and mitigation efforts. And a lot of mitigation efforts, of course, are geared towards the energy sector, which they see as being key to mitigation. So setting up renewable energy plans and all that.
So the African plans really cover quite a wide range of things. And what do you need to see from a Paris climate deal to make those a reality and put those into practice?
What I hope to see from the deal is some form of agreement on finance that is actually sustainable, not just one-off commitment or pledges, but we want to see some sort of commitment towards a finance mechanism which is sustainable, which is long-term, that will be able to guarantee small island developing states, least developing countries and African countries, some sort of climate finance to actually achieve some of the pledges they have set for themselves. So that would really be important. Of course, we also want to see a lot of text in terms of adaptation and how we move forward, especially a balance between support towards mitigation and adaptation, and more emphasis on adaptation because there are a lot of communities which are already being faced by the impacts of climate change. And then in terms of the overall Paris Agreement, one of the things I would really love to see is some sort of a commitment to moving towards the 2-degree global warming target here. Because if you look at the pledges currently put forward, they are way off of the 2-degree track. So I would want to see that sort of ambition reflected there to see how moving forward, how we would be able to come back to that particular track in a post-2020 framework.
And it's Saturday now, and we've just had a new draft text out. Given what we have on the table now, how confident are you that we're going to come out of Paris with a strong deal?
I'm not very confident about a strong deal right now because a lot of the text is still in brackets. There are still so many options that have to be worked through. There's a lot of contentious text in a couple of areas, so that still needs to be worked through. There's still issues of how to define the purpose of the deal that is yet to be agreed on conclusively. So there's still work that remains to be done. But I think at the moment we have a text. So I would say somebody would say that's a good thing.
And they're on timetable as well, which is quite rare. Okay, so cautiously, yeah, we'll see. All right, well, thank you, Winnie. I think